Hello and welcome back to GT Retro World. Well, as promised, we finally got the AnyTone ARES 2 fired up after about 2-3 weeks, you know. But I have been busy with other things, but yeah, I thought today's the day, and we finally got an antenna up as well of sorts. Well, horizontal anyway, but it's working a treat. Anyway, we powered it up, and there's a few little strange things about this at the moment. The default settings in the manual do not correspond with the radio at all. As soon as you switch these on, the beep goes into full effect. And what a racket as well. In fact, I did it this morning and the missus was still in bed and it woke her up, to be honest. It was that loud. And apparently default setting is off, or of as they say, but it wasn't. Definitely not. So anyway, we'll let you have a little look around the radio and see what you think. We'll go through a few of the settings and I'll give you me almost a verdict on it. I've had a little play about with it and it's actually quite, I mean, for what it is, it's impressive, you know. It's alright. It's quite sensitive as well. But yeah, we'll get to that in a minute when we go through all the settings and whatnot and let you have a listen to the echoes and bleeps or whatever you want to listen to. I'll just go through it and we'll go from there. I'll do this before I even program it because it will need programming. I want the UK40 in there and just a few other bits and bobs. Just mess about with it really. Same as the VHF, I want to program that for like ship to shore probably, and calling frequencies on 2 meters, that thereabout, you know. I noticed when I powered it up, it's TX and wide. So basically it's like 24715 or thereabouts to 3105 megahertz. So I thought I'd pop the lid off. I wanted to have a quick look inside anyway, but I wasn't going to do it just now. I just thought I'd check to see if jumper 802 had been moved from the factory, and as you can see down there, let's have a look, see if we can get you in there. It actually has, which is a bit of a surprise really. Obviously it's not a default 10 meter radio anymore, so I'm unsure if this is just from Moonraker or from every source at the moment on the later version or the later release. Yeah, bit of a surprise really. Not that I'm bothered, it doesn't bother me in the least. I just thought I'd just share it with you so you know what you're bashing with. But on a whole, I'll tell you what, there's not a lot in these things. I mean, you see a couple of videos online and it looks like there's not a lot in there, but when you've actually got a lid off in the flesh, there's literally nothing hardly in there. To be honest, it's actually well put together. But yeah, just a little look inside there, and as you can see, jumper's already moved over. These come from the factory, wide-banded basically, or expanded if you want to call it that. Anyway guys, we'll get back to the job in hand. I've returned a couple of the settings back to default because I've had a bit of a mess about with it just to get my head around it, and it's not rocket science, to be honest. It's pretty straightforward. So I'll just power it up anyway from its default. Apparently this should have been off, this bleep, or of as they say in the manual, but it's not. Listen to this. Yeah, that's actually redlined my camera. So to get that off, or to turn it down, we basically power the radio off, hold it up on the top of the mic, as you can see there. Hang on, have you got that? Yeah. So we're going to use up a lot, to be honest, on the mic. So keep your finger on that, power it back up again, and that'll take us into the function menu. And BP is basically, hang on, I'm scrolling past there. I mean, you can use the top of the mic, to be honest, to scroll through the function menu, but I just use the channel selector. So, hang on, beep. So beep, the default setting for this should have been off, or like I say, off, as it states in the manual, but no, it wasn't. It was actually on level 5, I think, and it states 9 levels, but I've actually only got 5 in here. Can you see? 5. There's no 1 to 9 in here. So what we're going to do, we're not going to turn that off straight away, because if you turn the beep off, I can't demonstrate the Roger bleeps. You can't hear them at all if you turn that off. So I'll put it on 1. Because if you turn it off, which is off, like I say, the Roger beeps will not function whatsoever. You won't be able to hear them through monitor. So I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just a little glitch that needs ironing out. So we'll leave that on 1, the beep anyway. So we'll shut it back down, pop it back on, and you can hear it'll be a lot quieter. Still there, it's there, I mean, that's setting 1. Still annoying, and we're going to turn that off. Not leaving that on at all. So anyway, so that's set. So we'll go through a few of the bleeps now. We'll let you listen to them. So we power it back off, up on the mic, back on again, and Roger bleeps. So that's 1, and we've got 5. You can have up to 8 on here, as far as I'm aware, but there's actually 5 in this firmware, but it's showing 8 in the software. So whether that's something we can mess about with later, if you want to, that is fair enough. But we'll have a listen to 1, and we'll go from there. So power it back off, back on, shove monitor on, and that's bleep 01, that's bleep 2, bleep 3, bleep 4, back off, up on the top of the mic, back on, Roger bleep, TX, 5, off, back on again, and that's bleep 5. As you can see, they're all different and they're all useless in my opinion, like, but there you go, someone might like them. Anyway, that's that sorted out. So we switch it back off, and what we'll do now, we'll hold that in. We're going to go to Roger bleep. We'll put that on. I thought we'll do, we'll put it on default 1. Actually no, we'll turn the damn thing off, and that's that done. So that's off. And we'll also turn the beep off. So that's the beep menu off, or for selecting switches and whatnot. That's off, as you can see. And we've also got Roger bleep off, so them two are off. So we'll power it off, back on. Beep's gone. Yeah, there we go, which is good. And no Roger beep, that's gone. Right, the next thing we've got the weather alarm. I'm not even going to bother that, it's either on or off. Its default is on. It's not really of any interest to me, to be honest, so it's basically as it sounds, on or off, so we don't need to mess about with that. We've got a dimmer setting, which we'll show you, which is D1, which is there, and we have, can you see guys, we've got 1, 2, 3. I feel that 3 is ideal, default is 3 anyway. NPC, you've got on or off. Vox, I have no interest in that, but you got levels 1 to 9. It's off as standard. If it's something you're going to use, fair enough, have a play with that yourselves guys. I don't think I'll be taking this mobile, maybe, but I don't think I'll be using Vox anyway. The Vox delay is default 3. You've got 1 to 9 levels on that. Again, it's not something I'm going to mess about at the moment. Scan type, that's set at squelch scan, so when you pop your squelch on, it'll scan. Same as the mic type, you can change that from condenser to dynamic. Default is condenser, because as far as I'm aware, these are a condensing mic, so that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, your frequency adjust, or your fine frequency adjust, we'll go on to there, which is FN, there you are. You've got RT, which is set as default, which is TX and RX adjustment, or you've got, hang on, that's off. You've got R, which is just your RX frequency adjustment, and your T, which is just for TX, but obviously we want RT. You want to be using TX and RX really on that clarifier shift, which is here. Your fin or your fine, whatever you want to call it. And you've got your FT, which is your fine frequency range. F1 is plus or minus 500 Hertz. And F2, which is there, is plus or minus 5 kilohertz. So we leave that on F2. Default, for some weird reason in here, is claiming F2, but it's not. I've got F1. SR function, which is SWR display. Default is on. Default on this radio is off, or off as we keep saying. So they've got that wrong in the manual. I think we'll leave that on. So we'll leave that on. It's probably quite handy. So we'll leave that on, SWR display on. And another thing you can do, you can reset the radio, which is RT, and that'll reset all radio data to factory default by moving the noise blanket or automatic noise limiter side switch, say switch to off, which is there. If you want to reset all your channel data to factory default, you slide the noise blanket switch to noise blanket ANL, which is that one, and that will actually delete all your channels and whatnot that you've stored in there that you've probably took forever to program in, unless you're using someone else's data, of course, which is probably the easiest method. So basically, if you switch off, press PTT, and you'll see what happens. I shouldn't be doing this, it's going to take me time to get it back how I want it again, but anyway, I'll show you guys. So you hold that in, she powers off, and she'll power back on. Now it's reset, look, beeps back on, and all my menus need sorting back out again, but I've got them in my head. So like I said, I thought I'd just show you there. There's no point in showing you how to reset the channel data, because it is as it is anyway. I haven't done anything with it yet as such, you know, but if you've sat there programming for days on end or whatever you've been doing, I don't know, just keep that in mind, guys. Anyway, we'll go back to a few more other features now. Right, let's have a listen to this echo, I'll switch that on. We've got monitor on. Now, I've had a little play with it. It's, again, if you're going to use it with a bit of dignity, I suppose, but yeah, it's to be honest, it doesn't sound too bad. I suppose if you're careful with it. Anyway, I'll let you have a little listen. Yeah, so we're in echo. We're in set mode, so we can modify the volume levels for echo and also the delay levels. I've actually found that the level around about 15 is more than enough, but it'll go from 1 to 32. As you can see, you've got 15 there, and you've got, like I say, 32. And we'll go back to 15, and I found that more than enough if you're going to use it. And obviously ET is your delay level set. So at the moment we've got, I was messing about with it, and I mean I'll go on 1 anyway. We'll try it on 1, and I'll stick it back on there. 1. Let's have a little look. As you can see, it's a bit of a more reverb on 1. PTT in. And we'll go to 15. We'll do around about that, because it'll go, I think this is 32 as well. Yeah, it's 32. So we'll go on 15 again, out of set, back to 1. I'll pull away from this radio so we don't get no feedback, or try not to. So that's on 15. Echo delay, that's say 25. 1. Hello. 1, 2. Sounds almost half decent. 1. Hello. 1, 2. Hello. So that's your delay. So you level at 15 and delay at 25. Now, if I knock that delay up to 32, as you can hear, she's a bit long. 1. Hello. 1, 2. Hello. I mean, you can almost make this damn thing scream if you start messing about with the levels, which is, we'll take it up to 20. As you can see, it gets starts getting silly. 1. Hello. 1, 2. To me, I think that's a bit too much. But you can just play with that if you want to play with it. I think it's just a bit of a gimmick, really. We liked them when we were kids, didn't we? I mean, a few people still like them, but it's not my cup of tea really anymore. You know, I don't mind messing about with something like that on a karaoke machine, you know, with a couple of beers, but not on here. Not really. It's not for me. But everyone to their own. I won't knock you for using this, that's for sure. You know, you only have one life, live it. Just be kind to everyone, you know what I mean? Because that could get annoying. I mean, I've had to play with that, and you can, yeah, you can almost do the qualities the Melos used to be able to do, like a continuous delay. but we won't go into that because it's just crazy. I need to turn the monitor level down because I don't know what it's set to as default, but until I actually start programming it properly with the computer, I have no idea. I just know there's 32 levels to be set by the PC, so we'll get that later. Like that one's turned down, as you can see, it's a bit too loud, and you get a bit of feedback every now and again. Another thing to mention as well, as you can see there, we're on channel 9. I'm going through a dummy load of you guys anyway, so don't worry about that. Everyone's not listening to me, that's for sure. As you can see, when you TX, we see the SWR and the display, as you can see, 1 to 1. So that's impressive. Anyway guys, that was a little look at the AnyTone ARES 2 as it comes straight from the manufacturer. A few little bits changed in the manual, I suppose, and default settings are slightly different, but other than that, it's a good little radio. You know, it is what it is, really. You know, it's probably a bit of fun. There's a few more gimmicks than most people need in there, but I mean, with ongoing firmware updates, it's probably going to be a good little set. They've ironed a few problems out already with it, you know. Anyway guys, on that note, thanks for all the subscriptions and the likes, and if you're not already subscribed, it'd be much appreciated guys for the channel. All being well, it's been helpful for you. Like I say, I'm still a bit, it's new to me, this thing anyway. I'm used to like 148, but like analog basic, we'll call them analog, you know, whereas these things are a whole new ball game. They're good fun actually, they're alright. I mean, you know, they're getting better all the time, these things, like, you know, even the built-in frequency count is just like, it's an odd thing to see, isn't it? You know, yeah, it's crazy, but there you go. Anyway guys, on that note, thanks a lot for viewing and subscribing. We'll catch you later.